And for my fourth and final mic'd up game ball for week 2 of the 2020 NFL regular season, we're going to go to Los Angeles for their inside linebacker, Micah Kiser. As you know, this one, I'm not sure how many people actually know who Micah Kiser is, if we're being completely honest. This is only the second start that he's ever had for the Rams. So unless you watched him back in college when he was coming out 2 years ago, or unless you're a big Rams fan or an Eagles fan, I guess after this weekend, you might not know who Kiser is, but he let his presence be known against Philadelphia in week 2. 15 total tackles, 7 of which came in the first quarter. He added a forced fumble in there at one point, a pass deflection. This man was all over the field. And, you know, to think that it was against the Eagles, a team that loves to utilize Miles Sanders out of the backfield, a team that loves to use Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert up the seams, to really limit those guys and really kind of be a black hole in the middle of this Rams defense. We're so used to saying that was Aaron Donald, but this past week it was Micah Kiser, man, as no matter what the Eagles threw at him, he was right there ready to make a play. And with that being said, let's hop right into the film and see what exactly it was that made him so special this past weekend. And we actually have quite a few plays of Kiser to run through today, 14 or 15, I believe. So if I seem like I'm going through these a little quicker than usual, I most definitely am. We're going to try and rapid fire through these to try and touch on really everything that Kiser did on a lot of his tackles, some of his pass coverage, et cetera, et cetera. So first things first, what I wanted to talk about, though, was just his quick first step. As this man, I don't know if his spidey senses were tingling all weekend or what, because he was just so quick to react to what the offense was doing. As you're going to see on this play, for instance, it's just going to be an outside zone running play to the right. Well, look at how look at how just tuned in and how quickly he's going to react, in which, you know, he is, as soon as Carson Wentz is opening up and you're really on the first step of these offensive linemen, he's stepping with them. And as a result, he's going to go stride for stride, meet Lane Johnson there, kind of set the edge, force Sanders to bring it back in, and then ultimately shed the block and help make the play. Just a fantastic job there by Kiser in terms of, one, not being selfish, in terms of, you know, not setting the edge and trying to make the play on his own, which could have potentially let Sanders beat it to the outside, but more importantly, just his instincts in terms of his quick first step and flying to the football, which is what we're going to see is quite the common theme here all day today. And here's another great example in which it's going to be an inside handoff here for Miles Sanders again. But what you're going to see is it's almost like Kiser was just mirroring Sanders the entire day. Look at how as soon as Sanders steps inside here to get this handoff, look at how Kiser, he's already turning and going. He's going to essentially stack up with the defensive tackle here, and then from there he's going to read and react to where Sanders is going. Is he taking it in that A gap? He's going to bounce it back outside towards C gap, and as a result, from where he is, he's going to be able to do that, as he's going to kind of play off of number 97 there, and ultimately he's going to make the play in that B gap as he evades Jason Kelce there on the block. Just a fantastic play there, in which, again, it's just that quickness, that those kind of instincts that he's showing off that is allowing him to make these plays in such close proximity to the line of scrimmage and so quickly after the ball is snapped. And I called this next play explosive finisher because I really wasn't sure what exactly I wanted to call it. What I wanted to talk about was Kiser's knack for the football, in which, you know, what you're going to see here is a very similar run to some of those we've watched already. But this time Kiser, look at how he's just able to get that left hand on the ball and ultimately punch it out here as Miles Sanders coughs it up, and the Rams are able to force a turnover. Just a fantastic play in which, sure, it's only his first forced fumble in the pros, but if we date back to college, this man, his sophomore and junior season combined, had a total of 8 forced fumbles, which is just an astounding number for anybody, college, pros, Pop Warner, no matter where you are. That's an absolutely astounding figure. It just seems like he has such a knack for the ball and an ability to really just finish these plays explosively in terms of flipping the field, as I said. It's just a great job here of, as you see, the quick first step, flowing with that offensive line with the running back. And then look at how as soon as Sanders puts a foot in the ground, there's Kiser doing the exact same thing, mirroring and matching as he's trying to figure out what hole to meet Miles in, as he ultimately is able to do so there, popping the ball out. Just a great play that really started the momentum shift here in terms of getting things in the Rams' favor for this game. And next up, one thing that I wanted to talk about that had a huge impact on this game was Kiser's lateral mobility. As you know, of his 15 tackles, 14 of the 15 came within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, which, you know, for a middle linebacker, that's just phenomenal to think that they're making so many plays within such a short distance of the line of scrimmage. And I think a lot of it is due to Kiser's ability to kind of, as I said, mirror and match the opposing running backs. And as you see, again, here's Kiser or here's Sanders, I should say, putting a foot in the ground, about to cut this play back, and there's Micah Kiser doing the exact same thing. On this play, though, it's not as cut and dry. He has to kind of chase Miles down a little bit, but he just does just that because he's so good when shuffling side to side and making plays either to his left or to his right. And speaking of moving left to right, we have to talk about Kiser's range, as he was just making freakish plays sideline to sideline all game this past weekend. As what you see on this play is, again, you see the mirroring and matching of Sanders off the snap, in which watch as it appears to be an inside zone running play. Look at how Kiser, he kind of fits down, in which he's going to try and meet Sanders in that hole wherever he bangs it. But then again, once he puts that foot in the ground, so does Kiser. And then watch how from there, it's just that lateral mobility, sideline to sideline range, in which he goes all the way from that right defensive hash to the left sideline to make a play for essentially a 2-yard gain. Just an absolutely beautiful job there by Kiser of kind of staying locked onto those hips of Sanders, never really given him anything to work with, and ultimately chasing him down all the way on the opposite side of the field for, again, just a super short gain. We'll watch it one more time because that really is just masterful stuff in terms of just being able to mirror and match, being able to track him down, and ultimately being able to bring him down for, again, really no gain. And I used this term earlier, read and react, and I think that it fits Kiser's game perfectly, as what you're going to have on this play is initially he's going to be tasked with watching this B gap here, right? That's going to be his gap on the play. But what you're going to see is initially the run's coming his way. So look at how he's going to take on Isaac Samalo, and essentially from there he's going to stack and shed as if he's a defensive lineman, right? Look at how he has hands on. He's bench pressing Samalo off him, kind of setting that edge in a sense, in which now from there, once he recognizes that, hey, there goes, I believe that's Boston Scott on that play, once he puts a foot in the ground and decides to go back upfield, kind of cut it back, look at how from there Kiser's in a great position to come across with that right hand, kind of sweep it through, and then shed and make a play. It's just a great job of reading and reacting in terms of, here I'm going to go maintain my gap integrity, and then, from there, once he recognizes that, hey, there goes the running back, there he goes as well, in terms of the reaction, the sweep through, and ultimately the tackle, again, to limit a potentially larger gain. Just a great play, as so many of these were by Micah Kiser this past weekend. One area where we didn't see a ton of Kiser this past weekend was in terms of his gap shooting. He was mostly working laterally, but here's a good example of him in which he's going to be playing forward, in which, as you see, initially off the snap, what is he, you want to say 4.5 yards off the ball. Look at how once he does read that this play is kind of a power run to the offense's right, look at how he does recognize the gap there between the pulling guard and that down block by Lane Johnson. He's able to shoot that gap and make a really nice play, standing up the running back in the hole for, again, a minimal gain. Just a great play in which, no, we didn't see a ton of these this past weekend, but it's definitely something that Kiser has in his bag. And, once he recognizes those gaps opening up, he's able to shoot them most definitely, which hopefully we'll see more in the future. Don't think for a second, though, that all of Kiser's plays were coming when he was uncontested sideline to sideline or on those gap shooting type style of plays. He was great at block shedding as well, and this is something that really impressed me. It just seemed like he could make tackles in every shape, every form, every whatever you want to call it, right? As this play, Jason Kelsey, who in my opinion is the best center in the league, he gets hands on Kiser. Look at how he recognizes that Kelsey is a little bit unbalanced. Therefore, he's going to hit him with a quick little push-pull, and ultimately, Kelsey, he's going to end up with his hands and knees on the turf as Kiser is making the play. Again, just a beautiful job of kind of deconstructing a block, getting off of it, and ultimately limiting a potentially larger gain there by Miles Sanders. Just great stuff going against one of the best centers in the league. And next up, I want to talk about Kiser's ability as an open field tackler, as he was just wildly impressive. Again, going up against a guy as explosive as Miles Sanders. I know it's Boston Scott on this play, but what you're going to see is they're going to hit a nice little quick option route to Scott, which he's breaking to the outside because Kiser has inside leverage on him. But look at how that really doesn't matter to Kiser. He does a great job of tracking and getting into the hip pocket of Scott there. And ultimately, he's able to turn what again, it potentially could have been a much larger play. He's able to turn it into essentially a 1 to 2 yard gain. Just a fantastic job of bringing him down in the open field one-on-one, in which, hey, if he breaks that tackle, we're looking at a potential first down. Well, not against Micah Kiser, because he was just so solid this past weekend, and hopefully continues to be so solid for the Rams, anchoring really the middle of that defense. And before we get into him in coverage, I want to give one final play to kind of appreciate him as just a second level run defender, right? As having these solid tacklers who are able to make plays and prevent them from getting onto your cornerbacks and safeties and whatnot. It's so valuable, and especially on a team like the Rams who already have a good line of kind of first level run defenders in terms of, say, the Aaron Donalds of the world. I think adding a guy like Kiser, who, 2 games in, he's looked quite well, to say the least. I think that adding that could be just incredibly useful to this Rams defense, especially in the absence of Corey Littleton, having lost him in free agency. I think that having a guy like Kiser potentially emerge and be that stout player in the middle of the defense, potentially that 150 tackle guy, I think that'll be incredibly valuable for this Rams team if he is in fact able to do so. And lastly, I just wanted to have a couple examples of his coverage ability as well, because even though he isn't the most flexible guy, as I said, he's not the most agile guy, nor the most quick guy. He certainly looks like it because of his instincts, right? And that helps him so much in man coverage. Is what you're going to see here is it's going to be a quick little, again, option route, this time to Miles Sanders, where he is going to be breaking outside because, again, look how Kiser, he has inside leverage. This is a very simple read. Carson Wentz, he's in tune to it as well. Look at how he gets the ball to Sanders quite early, but on a critical third down here, he's able to bring down Sanders essentially immediately as soon as he catches the ball and force a fourth down. It's just a beautiful play in which Kiser, he's essentially stuck to Sanders' hip pocket, which, having watched Miles Sanders film from this past season, I can tell you that's incredibly tough for any linebacker, let alone somebody in only their second game. Just a beautiful play and a beautiful example of his ability to cover guys really one-on-one on an island. And if you didn't believe me on the last one, here's another one. This time they're going to fake the handoff to Sanders, and then he's going to kind of leak out to the flats. Look at how Wentz there tries to force the ball into him again, and Kiser's right there. He doesn't get quite the pass deflection on that one, but a hand is certainly in there disrupting things for Miles, kind of just making him uncomfortable at that catch point, which he just did all day, and it was fantastic stuff, especially when he was manned up on him there in the flats and kind of up the seams. Just beautiful stuff by Kiser. Now, last but not least, I wanted to talk about Kiser's zone coverage ability, as I thought he did a great job of not only kind of mirroring and matching the running backs, but he did a fantastic job of reading and reacting to and kind of mirroring Carson Wentz's eyes as well. Really all day. Is what you're going to see on this play is initially he's going to flow out this way to the defense's left, but then ultimately he's going to read Wentz's eyes, recognize, hey, here comes Dallas Goedert back across the middle. I should probably get on that. He's pointing him out, calling him out for the rest of his defenders to kind of rally. And from there, he recognizes, hey, there's Zach Ertz. He's gonna hit a nice T-step there, accelerate forward, and again, just limit Ertz from getting anything really up that seam. And this is just what he was doing all day. And again, if he's able to do this on a consistent basis for the Rams, watch out, because the middle of that field was essentially a black hole. Even if you catch the ball, you're only getting 2, 3, 4 yards max. And that was really what was so impressive about those 14, 15 tackles by Kiser. And last but not least, here's one more final example in which he's able to get a pass deflection here across the middle. This time, it's going to be a simple pass to Ertz. So look at how he goes up, tips it, and is able to, again, stave off the potential completion and ultimately force another down by the Eagles. Just a great play in which, he shows off some great zone coverage ability, reading Wentz's eyes. He's never actually looking at Ertz. He's just playing wherever Carson Wentz is looking, and that was what impressed me quite a bit from this past game, among all the other stuff that I've talked about to this point. So hopefully by now, even if you don't know who Micah Kiser is, hopefully you appreciate the game that he put out, and now you see why I gave him a mic'd up game ball. And as always, if you guys did enjoy this video today, make sure you not only leave a thumbs up, but also leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you're not super familiar with Micah Kiser, tell me, what do you think of kind of the film that we put on here today? Are you excited to see, if you're a Rams fan, what he does in the future? Do you think he'll be able to replace Corey Littleton or potentially even surpass Corey Littleton? Obviously, if you guys are Rams fans, or if you're not a Rams fan, let me know down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. And with that being said, if you did enjoy the video, make sure you subscribe. There's going to be tons more of videos like this, kind of where that came from in terms of whether it's more game balls handed out next week, the previous now 7 that I've given out in week 1 and week 2, or my mic'd up top 100 series, my preview and prediction series. There's a bunch of stuff for you guys to enjoy on the channel. All you got to do is press that subscribe button to constantly be getting these videos in your sub boxes. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm mic'd up, and I'm micing out. Peace, guys. See you next time.